1,000 miles. From Yukon to Alaska, 11 checkpoints. 26 mushers. 364 sled dogs. Minus 40 degrees. A race against time. Only one winner. Mushers conquering the Yukon Quest, the most extreme race in the world. It's the morning of day 3 at Pelly Crossing. It's the 3rd checkpoint of the Yukon Quest and one of the few that does not have a mandatory layover. 5 teams have already started their 200-mile journey to Dawson City, the longest stretch between checkpoints. Rookie Kristin Knight Pace is still at Carmack's checkpoint. She is currently in last position and a contender for the Red Lantern.
On a le Red Lantern, donc ça c'est une lanterne, vraiment comme une lampe à l'huile dans le temps rouge, qu'on remet au dernier musher qui termine la course. Puis ça, en fait, la tradition voudrait que... Ça, c'est toutes les courses de traîneau à chien ont ça. Quand on commence une course de traîneau à chien, on allume la lanterne et on la garde au départ, autour de la course, là, mais on allume la lanterne, la course est en chemin. Toutes les mushers sont sur la trail. Puis quand tous les mushers sont revenus de la trail, on ferme la lanterne, puis ça s'est remis au dernier qui était rentré. Donc on a le prix de la Red Lantern pour le dernier arrivé.
Even though it's an official prize, mushers shouldn't strive to win it.
I had told people one year, said we don't race for the Red Lantern at the Yukon Quest. If I think you guys are slowing down or playing clever out there, neither one of you are going to finish this race.
The race is not just a challenge for those at the back of the pack. Matt Hall, last year's Rookie of the Year, is now in trouble. Matt arrives at Pelly Crossing at 9:53 a.m. after a treacherous journey from Carmack's. The trail was full of jumble ice that injured several of his dogs. Jumble ice is caused by dramatic temperature changes and high water flow rates. The ice fractures and the shards jam together and refreeze, creating a chaotic surface. After Matt's dogs are examined, the veterinary team decides that he must drop 3 more. He now races with a team of 8. That's only 2 more than the minimum of 6 required to finish the race.
Well, that's probably a minimum number of dogs that you'd like to see travel several hundred miles. And if they're a good, solid 6 dogs, that's absolutely just fine. But if you didn't make it 6, then people would be trying to finish with 4, you know, or 3. So you got to set a number. And it's always been 6, as far as I know.
In such severe conditions, will Matt be able to finish the race with only 8 dogs? By noon on day 3, 6 teams have left Pelly Crossing for Dawson City, the midpoint of the race. With teams that are almost 10 meters long, communication between the musher and the dogs is essential to avoid disaster. The language used by mushers has a long history.
Le mot musher vient vraiment du Canada. Il vient du Manitoba. Le mot musher vient des Métis. Donc, les premiers Français qui sont arrivés ici se sont mixés avec les Premières Nations, donc les Métis. Puis, il y avait un gros accent. Fait que quand ils parlaient à leur chien, ils disaient à leur chien « marche le chien », mais l'accent était tellement fort, ils disaient « moche le chien, moche ». C'est à la voix qu'on communique. Donc, on va utiliser certains mots, certains vocabulaires qui sont assez, disons, internationaux, comme le mot « wow » qu'on utilise pour faire un arrêt. Quand on dit « wow », bien sûr, on utilise le frein. On a un frein sur le traîneau et au même moment, on utilise le frein, puis on dit « wow ». Wow! Il y a en avant. Moi, j'utilise le mot en avant les boys, où je vais siffler.
Ha! Ha veut dire gauche. Ha! G, droite. Donc, nous avons pris la gauche. Ha! C'est du vieux langage international. C'est ni anglais ni français. Il y en a qui disent que ça vient des pays scandinaves. J'en ai aucune idée. Mais c'est vieux, vieux, vieux.
At 11:06 a.m., Normand Casavant reaches Pelly Crossing. He's moved up to 11th position, but the trail has injured 2 of his dogs. He'll have to drop them with Karin.
Le dragon! Dragon! Le dragon! Viens, mon beau dragon! Le dragon! Attends le step. On prêt.
C'est comme des petits claquages, qu'on peut pas aller plus loin que ça dans ce temps-là. Fait qu'on les a débarqués. Puis c'est drôle, ils ont super bien été tout le long. C'est rendu dans le checkpoint que je m'en suis aperçu qu'il y avait ça. Mais j'avais vu Step. Après le dernier champ de glace. Le dernier champ de manille de glace. Puis, je pensais que c'était juste un poignet. Mais elle avait un poignet, mais elle avait aussi autre chose quand on l'a fait vérifier avec le vet. Fait que...
Step, c'est la patte droite en avant. Je le vois un peu s'enfler, mais c'était tellement mineur que c'était vraiment une bonne affaire que Normand puisse s'être rendu compte de ça, puis qu'avec les vétérinaires, il y a eu l'entente qu'il la débarquait parce que ça aurait pu empirer. Là, ça va prendre quelques jours, ça va se rétablir. Puis le dragon, lui, il a comme un étirement à la muscle, au muscle d'en arrière, à la cuisse. Puis ça aussi, c'est du repos puis de la chaleur.
C'est une bonne petite chienne pour le futur. Puis le dragon, ben, c'est presque un de mes petits favoris. Mon petit chien, il me manque, c'est un super de bon chien. Très bon leader, il a l'idée presque tout le long. Ben, il avait l'idée tout le long.
Comme Normand, il s'en va pour 200 000. Tu veux pas garder un traîneau, un chien dans ton traîneau sur une aussi longue distance. Donc, t'es mieux débarquer le chien ici avec les handlers puis les vétérinaires que de l'amener tout le long dans ton traîneau.
Brent Sass has more than a 2-hour lead. Will he be able to maintain it, or will Hugh Neff manage to catch him before Dawson City? After feeding his dogs, Normand Casavant massages them to prevent injuries. Mushers also need to be able to keep up their dogs' appetites if they want to maintain their team's performance.
You have to have your dogs eating right away, especially if you're only staying 3-4 hours at a checkpoint or a rest on the trail. So that's another big thing that would make dogs not meet my team if I had some picky eaters.
During the race, these canine athletes consume an average of 10,000 calories per day. Appetizing meals with quality ingredients are at the core of their performance.
C'est du saumon, acheté en Colombie-Britannique, du beau saumon. Ici, la viande hachée de poulet, toute congelée. Nous allons le décongeler plus tard à l'intérieur, à chaleur. Il est entreposé ici. Nous avons ici dans le contenant toute la moulée pour les chiens, les croquettes, les chiens.
Colder weather dictates that you're gonna have to feed a lot more fat out there. Generally, we're snacking every few hours, usually a soaked kibble. And then if it's warmer out, you're gonna tend to use a lot more fish, actually. You need that hydration. But the water, the sugar, the glucosamine are very important factors in the dog's chemistry. You're definitely gonna feed the animals everything beforehand in training to make sure they enjoy eating that. 10,000 calories a day, that's a lot of food. That's equals about 30 hamburgers. And these dogs are eating machines.
We'll also have different varieties of food on the trail. We'll have beef, liver, tripe, we'll have fish, beaver, we'll have so many different things out there. So if they get picky, we can choose something else. Well, maybe you'll like this, maybe you'll like this, because if a dog does not eat, then the downfall has started for that dog. No matter how good a dog is, if he doesn't eat or she doesn't eat, then they won't finish the race. So that's probably the key ingredient to winning races.
Et bien sûr, ça c'est le secret ultime. la soupe d'orignal. C'est toute la scrap des orignaux, les chasseurs, ce qu'ils ne conservent pas. Donc, on fait une belle récupération de l'animal. Il n'y a rien qui se ramasse au dépotoir. C'est extraordinaire. Donc, on fait une belle soupe avec ça pour les chiens. On a toujours du riz qu'on rajoute dans notre soupe. Donc, on a toujours le fameux riz à l'intérieur. On a environ 2-3 tasses de riz pour nos chiens de traîneau à l'intérieur.
Winter or summer, keeping their dogs hydrated is essential. So mushers mix water with each meal.
Il faut qu'il y ait tout le temps du liquide dans leur repas. S'ils ont bien mangé des repas liquides, 3 à 4 fois minimum par jour qu'on nourrit les chiens ici. Donc, on leur donnera un bon morceau de steak ce soir, ça sera la récompense.
Although they're able to buy meat from local fishermen and hunters, the huge amount of food required makes sled dog racing very expensive.
Le plus gros facteur stressant dans ça, pour moi, bien entendu, je pense que c'est le facteur de l'argent. Les commanditaires, trouver l'argent ou la prendre dans tes poches, je pense que c'est ça qui est le plus stressant.
Just day-to-day feeding, bag of food a day, bag of our food that we use, it's a higher protein-fat ratio. It's going to cost you, upwards of $60 a day and I go through a bag a day. And that's not including meat, fat, rice, fish, whatever you're feeding. So the expenses really add up. You have to have booties you put on the dogs, you have jackets. The sleds these days are, getting almost to be about the price of a small car. Upwards of $5,000 for a good dog sled. So financially, it's a very expensive sport just to be a part of, really.
Normand has made it to Pelly Crossing, but hasn't reached the end of his troubles.
On va débarquer vos tours. Oh, je viens de le checker tantôt. C'est le premier que j'ai checké. Puis il y a encore un bobo. Ça fait qu'on va le débarquer.
Normand may have to drop one more dog. In such frigid conditions, minor leg injuries are a common occurrence.
Il y a les petits cracks, les fissures, mais sinon c'est comme les blisters dans les pays des marathons. Mais ça guérit vite. Il y a des fois les frottes harnais, mais il y a d'autres types de harnais. Et s'il y a un problème, on change l'harnais. Il y a aussi le crème qu'on peut mettre dans les endroits où il y a des frottes armées.
So, this is the one.
Okay. We're gonna drop.
Yeah. There's this. His name is Tutu.
Did it get looked at before?
No one's looking.
Normand has to drop one more dog. That leaves him with a team of 11 before even reaching the halfway point. While he prepares to leave, Matt Hall returns to Pelly Crossing with his team. Minor injuries have gotten worse. This could be the end of the race for Matt Hall.
I've only been racing 3 years, but I've never scratched, so if I keep going, it's just for me to, say I've never done it, I look up at my team and, we got 8 dogs going along there, and it's like, well, it's not about me right now. I'm here because of them, and it's not fair to ask 8 dogs to go 700 miles just on my behalf. So, no, I think, I'm currently happy with my decision at the moment. It is frustrating, you spend, especially when you're devoting your life to it and all your training and everything. It's frustrating when it doesn't work out. So you gotta wonder how you're gonna improve off of that for next year. In no way is this the end. We're gonna get home and heal up and train up, and we'll be back.
Matt Hall decides to scratch from the race, but this doesn't take away from his talent as a musher. He puts aside his personal goals for the welfare of his dogs, the most honorable thing to do. Normand Casavant leaves Pelly Crossing in 11th place. The most challenging trail still lies ahead, including 4 mountain summits. Who will be the first to conquer King Solomon's Dome? On day 3, the leaders are more than 250 miles from the starting line. 5 mushers have already fallen victim to the extreme conditions and scratched from the race. It's Jason Campeau's turn to have problems on the trail. His trouble is not with his dogs, but with his sled. He limps into Pelly Crossing at 8:35 p.m. in 20th position. The damage to his sled is serious, and he doesn't have the parts to repair it. The rules will allow Jason to replace his sled, but he will have to serve a penalty. Jason's training partner, Jake Berkowitz, is running a 200-mile race to train their younger dogs. He decides to scratch in order to give Jason his sled.
I think he hit a few trees pretty hard, and I think the ice kind of exacerbated some bad issues with the sled. So made it a little difficult to keep it tracking in certain directions. And with this long stretch coming out 200 miles, he kind of deemed it better option to get a good sled going rather than having an issue out there and not being able to repair it fully.
Jason Campeau's race is saved, but replacing his sled is considered major outside assistance and will cost him 6 hours.
But totally replace your sled or rebuild your sled is like an 8-hour time penalty. You don't have to completely leave the race, but it's an 8-hour time penalty.
Despite his setback, Jason continues the race.
On a eu cette sled-là, puis de là, on est en forme, puis on y va encore.
Day 4 at 3:30 a.m., Kristin Knight Pace finally arrives at Pelly Crossing. She's doing very well considering 5 mushers have already scratched.
It was a little bit of a rocky start this morning just because I was feeling pressure to get on the trail, but it's like, you know, I'm about to go 210 miles and I need to make sure I have everything I need, and so just took my time and got my whole sled packed, even though my sled bag is broken and one of the zippers is missing. But anyway, it's all there, and I still have a full 14-dog team. I'm really proud of my dogs, and even though a lot of people are scratching, I am not gonna let them down. Well, I'm a rookie, and so this is my first 1,000-mile race ever, and I just wanted to finish. You know, I didn't have any like particular place in mind to finish. I just wanted to finish with my whole team, which is kind of really hard to do, but so far I'm doing it. So it's been successful thus far. We're only 1/3 of the way through.
Although she is still a contender for the Red Lantern, Kristin takes a 10-hour break to rest her team before continuing her quest. On the trail between Pelly Crossing and Dawson City, Brent Sass is in the lead, but it's still a very tight race. At the beginning of day 4, they have barely covered half of this 200-mile section. In Dawson City, the Canadian Rangers take a break after 3 weeks of clearing the Canadian side of the Yukon Quest trail. Despite the party atmosphere, they stand ready to respond to any emergency situation. While his fellow Rangers stay in Dawson City, Bob Daff follows his tradition and continues blazing the trail to Fairbanks. All the mushers have now left Pelly Crossing. They're following the century-old terrain of the Gold Rush Trail to Dawson City. Volunteers have been preparing to greet the mushers for several days. Gabby Skaga has a 16-year history with the Yukon Quest. The race is very dear to her heart.
Aujourd'hui, c'est le premier jour qu'on ouvre pour 24 heures. Et nous pensons peut-être le premier musher arrive peut-être 6 heures ce soir, ça dépend. Le checkpoint de Dawson est différent parce que les chiens et les mushers restent ici plus longtemps. Alors, ils restent ici, avant c'était 36 heures, maintenant ça sera 24 heures. Mais ils restent pour ce temps, alors ils ont la chance d'être en ville, ils ont la chance d'avoir une douche.
At 3:01 p.m., the temperature is minus 40 degrees. After 36 hours on the trail, Brent Sass arrives in Dawson City. The trail from Pelly Crossing may have had its share of obstacles, but they sure don't show on this musher's face.
Nice overflow on the road coming in, took a little bath. I mean, we made it, but I had to drag him across, and I did too low in the sled, so that was pretty fun. The dogs were amazing. I mean, we just did 3 really long runs in a row, and they came in. We slowed down a little bit once we put Chulo in the sled on this last run, but the first part, the hills were just amazing. I mean, I didn't get off the sled in the Black Hills. They pulled me up over all of that. So I think they're ready for a nice ride.
Brent wins the Dawson City Award, a 4-ounce gold nugget, but he doesn't rejoice too quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about it until I cross the finish line. I had a little incident last year.
Last year, Brent Sass also arrived first, but later he had an accident. A few miles from the finish line, he fell off his sled. The fall gave him a concussion and a withdrawal from the race. He also lost the gold nugget. Doug Grilliot explains.
The Dawson City Award, that is awarded 4 ounces of gold to the first musher that arrives in Dawson and subsequently finishes the race. The musher has to complete the race to be awarded that 4 ounces of gold.
The race is far from over. Brent Sass's opponents are not far away. 2-time champion Alan Moore is 6 hours behind in second position. Hugh Neff trails by 3 hours in third. Norman Casavant is halfway to Dawson City with a team of 11 dogs. The leaders are emerging, but the most challenging portion of the trail still lies ahead.